Hey everyone, welcome in. In today's video, we're going to dive into the newly released horror visual novel game called Innsmouth 2022. The game has been inspired by the book from none other than H.P. Lovecraft, particularly The Shadow over Innsmouth. Now, if you don't know who Lovecraft is, he's an American writer, specifically in the horror genre, or should we say into the cosmic horror genre. And there was a pretty popular game that got released not so long ago, also inspired from his writing, that is called The Call of Cthulhu, or I think this is how it's pronounced. It's pretty difficult to find the correct pronunciation. I am very excited about this game, and I am very excited to play my very first visual novel. So I will make sure to read through, and let's enjoy this game together. You're in your office at a university, working on your laptop, when the phone rings. One thing to note, Lorenzo will be our main character. Hello, Inspector Rossi. Good morning, Professor Reggie. This is Inspector Rossi. How are you? Lorenzo, good, thanks. And you? Good. I wanted to ask about the report you're preparing for us, the one about the artifact seized in Tuscany. We need to wrap up the investigation this week and would appreciate having the document as soon as possible. Let's see. I suspect the artifacts are fakes. Lorenzo, I still need to finish it, and I'm leaving for the USA. Do you need a finished report urgently? Actually, Professor, we do. We're about to close the investigation. There's no aspect I'd like to investigate further, it's just a hunch, but sometimes the little things hide something more significant. I suspect they might be fakes, I'll bet ancient ones, made centuries ago. Rossi, in that case, you're right. Take the time you need. Can you send me the report before you leave, except for the spending issue? Good idea. I'll do as you suggest. Goodbye. After hanging up, you remember you need to call Laura, your girlfriend, who tried to reach you a couple of hours ago. Lorenzo, hey babe, sorry, I'm only calling now. Laura, don't worry, I figured you were busy with tomorrow's trip. How about dinner tonight? Great idea. Shall I pick you up at 8? Laura, perfect. I'll be waiting. Kisses. You briefly think back to the last email you received from Professor Tom J. Angeli, president of the New England Archaeological Society. A young and promising archaeologist known for his many papers on the myths and legends of ancient Greece and Rome, we will be proud to have you speak at our conference. I must admit, this invitation makes me a bit proud. You get up from your desk and go to the window. Well, I'm already 40, but I'm starting to make a name for myself, even abroad. Dad will be proud. Unfortunately, he passed away too soon. Phone rings. Hello? Oh, it's Professor Tom J. Angeli. So, let's call him Professor Tom. Good morning, Lorenzo. This is Tom Angeli. I'm calling to make sure everything's set for your departure tomorrow. I'm sure your presentation will be one of the most appreciated at the conference. Your reputation as a scholar has made its way here, and I believe that your approach to Asian history will blend perfectly with an informal and also, how should I say, a bit unconventional spirit of the panels that will take place at the conference. Lorenzo, thank you very much, Tom. I'll do my best to meet the expectations. I'll try not to give an academic lecture. I've read the schedule for the event, and it seems like it won't be 3 boring days among scholars. Tom, you bet. We're all university professors and professionals at the end of our careers. We're not aiming to publish yet another scientific paper. We want to have a great conversation about the themes that have fascinated us all our lives. Have a great day, have a safe trip, and I can't wait to meet you. Thank you, and have a great day too. The conference will focus on the importance of myths, legends, and idols of ancient civilizations. Even every ancient ones preceding the Greeks and Romans, they've asked me to focus mainly on the aspects not commonly covered by regular academic studies. I want to get creative to make my presentation spot on. I'll add a dash of originality, Anyway, I'll be one of the last speakers, so I'll have some time to tweak my talk to match the vibe of the conference. Tom also sent me the start of his talk, focused on Asian myths and rituals. I didn't quite get the era or the people he's talking about. Super intrigued though. This invite kinda surprises and intrigues me. Plus, they're covering all travel, food, and lodging expenses. Never heard of the New England Archaeological Society before, but they sure knew about me. True, I've been writing on international blogs for a while. They must have found me there. Guess the hustle paid off. Both Tom and his assistant Ellie have reached out to me loads of times. Ellie is so thoughtful, sends me 2 emails a day just to nail down all the details. Now I just need to focus on preparing my presentation and making sure I've got everything I need for the trip. Can't wait to get going. By the way, it was Ellie who suggested I head out early for a couple of days of diving. Actually, I'll send her one last confirmation email since she seemed almost anxious about my arrival. Dear Ellie, all confirmed. I've got a flight tomorrow from Rome at 1 p.m., landing at 3 p.m. local time. I'll pick up the rental car and head to Ipswich for 2 days of ocean diving. See you soon, and thanks for everything. You're a great sea enthusiast, an expert in diving. At 17, you were able to dive to almost 100 meters deep without breathing. The sea has always been your obsession since childhood, but it was the only one among your passions that your father did not like. Your mother had died at sea when you were only 3 years old. It's been at least a year since you found the time to fully enjoy the sea, but you always keep yourself informed about the world of diving, reading articles and blogs. Moreover, since you decided to go to the conference and are looking for information about the Boston area, you find articles about diving everywhere. The magic of the web. The phone rings and disturbs your peaceful thoughts. It's Ellie, Tom's assistant. Hi, Lorenzo. I just read your email and we can't wait to meet you. I was calling to see if there's anything else I can do for you. Lorenzo. Hello and thank you. Everything is okay and I'm ready to go. Is everything okay with the diving equipment? Did you have any problems booking it? Often, diving centers don't have the type of snorkel I usually use. Ellie, no problem. I personally spoke with the school. They have already reserved the best available equipment for you. You see, the ocean is different from your seas. It gives a feeling of absolute depth. Ask Ellie if she dives. Yeah, do you also dive? I'm a marine biologist for many years. I have been dealing with those seabeds. That stretch of ocean was my home. Ah, so you're an expert. What are the characteristics of that stretch of sea? Ellie says it's unpredictable. There are strong currents and the weather changes quickly. When you're offshore, you always have to look at the sky to avoid being at sea during a storm. And the seabeds? You see, they're very special. Depending on the weather, the seabeds change light. Sometimes at 30 meters deep, it seemed to me that the sea around me was a living creature. Lorenzo, I can't imagine what you're telling me. I can't wait to dive. Ellie, you'll see. It will be an exciting experience. You're accompanied by a waiter at a reserved table. You don't even have time to sit down when Laura, your girlfriend, arrives immediately. Oh, there's Lorenzo. Hi, honey. Laura, have you picked your bags for the trip? And is your report ready? Yeah, everything is in order. I have a perfect plan. I'll arrive tomorrow evening on the coast in Ipswich, where I'll go diving on Friday and Saturday. Sunday morning, I'll leisurely head to Boston in time for the conference starting on Monday. The report isn't finished, but I have plenty of time to refine it. What luck that this invitation is in June. Yeah, it's really perfect. I can combine my passion for the sea with my participation in a conference that looks interesting. I would say the conference seems a bit strange. The conference seems a bit unusual. Some speakers don't belong to the academic field and some topics are peculiar. What do you mean? They will talk about very ancient history, but also legends and theories not scientifically proven. I hope I won't find myself among a group of nutters. But you haven't been invited by a group of crazies, have you? I don't think so. The organizer and a couple of speakers have a long academic background in important universities. Well, then it would just be more fun than a normal conference among boring historians. Hope so. Anyway, I'm very excited about scuba diving in the States. Well, have a good trip. I hope you can have an unforgettable adventure. I'll miss you, your blue eyes. Me too. The next day, you catch a cab to Rome Fiumicino Airport, all set to fly to the States. You got a carry-on and a briefcase containing your laptop and presentation. You're hoping to jazz it up with some fresh ideas by Monday when the conference kicks off. You go over your schedule in your head. You'll be arriving in Ipswich on Thursday evening and so on. Airport attendant, please place your phone and laptop in the tray. Here they are. Taking off your jacket, you place the metal items, your laptop, phone, in the tray. Excuse me, sir, we need to do a routine check on your electronic devices. Go ahead. The staff member disappears for a few minutes and comes back and hands you over your laptop and phone with a smile. Sorry for the hold-up, sir. No problem, have a good day. You've always wondered if these checks are random or if security gets suspicious of something or someone. But in your case, you can't quite figure out what might seem odd about you. It's weird that they took my laptop and phone and kept them for that long. You plan to keep working on your speech during the flight. I want to make a good impression. I've prepared material for at least 3 different presentations. I'm one of the last speakers, so I'll decide last minute. The flight will be long, but it's chill. The plane is completely full, and the seat next to you is taken by a guy around 25, not Italian. You smile at him, and the guy starts chatting in English. You're reading a book about symbolism and Asian cultures. The flight attendants are super nice and friendly, and they keep checking to make sure everything's good. After the meal, you crash into a deep sleep. You wake up to find only water above you, surrounding you in every direction. You must be over 100 meters deep, free diving, but you feel no strain. It's as if the oxygen you have could last forever. Looking up, you can see some sunlight penetrating down there. You're surrounded by big air bubbles and swarms of fish, which seem to follow a precise path. It feels like you're in a vortex, pulling you from the deep ocean to the surface, slowly spinning you around like a top. At one point, the water changes color. It turns a bright light green, and you can see everything clearly, until an arm grabs you and helps you resurface. Let's grab the arm. There's a girl with big blue eyes, and she helps you rise. She pushes you toward the surface, gently but with a lot of determination. You want to return to the bottom of the sea where you had a great sense of well-being, but the girl prevents you. She has superhuman strength and forces you to obey. But before you take a breath above the surface, you see, albeit for a moment, a huge, monstrous creature. Similar to a giant octopus trying to reach you and the girl from the deeper waters. At that point, you realize the girl wants to save you. A hand touches you gently. You wake up and notice a very pretty flight attendant is smiling at you. Husses, we're landing in Boston soon. You slept through most of the flight. Can I get you a coffee? Thank you, I really need a coffee. You dream a lot. Sometimes you remember your dreams for a long time. Other times you forget them a few minutes after waking up. Sometimes you almost feel like you receive omens in your sleep. You stretch it out in your seat and lift the shade on your window. The sky is clear and the sun is shining. You check your watch. The landing is right on time. You drink your coffee and fill out the immigration forms. When the plane touches down on the runway, your legs still feel numb. You arrive in Boston and head towards the immigration office. There isn't much of a queue. It takes you 10 minutes. The police officer gives a quick look at your passport and at the form that you have filled out for the immigration procedures. Then he welcomes you and lets you pass. You only have carry-on luggage, luckily. After the arrival gate, you look for the car rental counters. They're right there in plain sight. Good morning. I've booked a rental car till next Friday. The rental employee. Good morning. Certainly, sir. You have chosen a small car with insurance coverage for both damage to you and to third parties. Is that right? Would this one be suitable for you? The attendant shows you a picture of a small car. Perfect. Great, here's the key. Do you know how the rental works? Fairly well. I have to return the car with a full tank and without any damage. By the way, can you tell me where to find the parking lot? It's my first time at Boston Airport. It's very easy. When you exit onto the street, there is a big parking lot in front of you. On the ground floor, you will see all the rent-a-car signs. In our parking lot, you should look for spot 125, where you'll find the car. I wish you a pleasant stay. Have a nice trip. Thank you. You easily find the car. It has automatic transmission, but you get used to it quickly. You leave the airport parking lot and head slowly towards the highways. Your final destination is the town of Ipswich, where Ellie's booked subcenter is located. It is located north of Boston, a couple of hours drive away. The navigator on your phone directs you north. You take one of the many highways, and after a while you see signs of Ipswich. Finally, I can spend a couple of days at sea. It's been so long since I've gone diving. I wonder what it's like to dive into the ocean. You drive along the coast and admire the scenery. It's very green and there are woods everywhere. Every now and then the road passes near a stretch of coast and you catch a glimpse of the sea. You immerse yourself in your thoughts as you drive onto the wide American roads. You arrive in a town around 6 p.m. The sun is still high. Here it gets dark later than in Rome. There is a bright but warm atmosphere. The sun is not as blinding as in Italy. Ellie has booked a room in a small hotel. There are no better ones around, and Elliot's Inn is located near the port. It's convenient for going to the diving school, and they gave us a good price. We know the owners, she said. You arrive in Ipswich and drive for about 3 kilometers along, wide across surrounded by American-style white two-story houses, with gardens and cars parked in front of each house. Then when you reach a roundabout, you turn right again and catch a glimpse of the sea in the distance. The direction is right. The sea is just about 2 kilometers away. You immediately notice a change in the landscape. Now you're in a slightly run-down neighborhood with dilapidated houses, all painted gray. They're almost attached to each other, having small windows through which the light barely shines. The streets are narrow and the intersections have no traffic lights. There are fewer people around and very little car traffic. It feels like you're in an abandoned neighborhood. The navigator provides you with unclear directions and keeps recalculating the route several times. You can't figure out where you need to go. You look around and see a group of bikers coming. Stopped at a traffic light, you're approached by an old pickup truck with 3 guys. Let's ask the biker group. Oh, what's this noise? Ah, a group of bikers. About 20 Harley Davidsons crowd around your car one after another. They're dressed like in the movies. Leather or jeans jackets, military helmstead, and the distinctive signs of American bikers. Some scrutinize you, looking at you as if you came from Mars. Others pass without giving you any notice. They don't seem aggressive, but a little unsettling, I would say. I wonder which group they belong to. A biker asks, "Are you a foreigner?" "Yeah, Italian. It's my first time in this area." I wonder if you'd like this place." The whole group accelerates, moving away from you. They make an unbearable noise. So you decide to ask a passerby. You find a man around 50 dressed modestly. "Good evening. Excuse me for bothering you. Can you tell me where I am?" "Pedestrian. This is Innsmouth." Thank you. I was looking for my hotel, the Elliott's Inn. Do you know where it is?" "Of course. It's on the main street." "It should be not far from the port." "Yes, Innsmouth is a port town. They're all near the port." "Go straight into the second street on the right. Turn. You'll see it a few meters away. Has a yellow sign outside. You get there in a couple of minutes." "Thank you. You're very kind." Let's ask about the hotel. What can you tell me about this hotel? There's strange stories about that hotel. Like what? I've heard a couple of times that it's not quiet at night, that strange things happen, that there are many noises. What noises? I don't know, but I've heard this story a couple of times. After a few minutes, you see the sign. The gentleman was very helpful. You park the car outside, grab your bags, and head into the hotel. You find yourself in a place that looks like a guest house with furniture that seems a bit dated and a thick carpet covering the lobby floor. A pretty young lady is at the reception. She's just over 20 and has gorgeous blue eyes. They remind you of your mom's side of the family. Dad always said you got two things from your mom, her eyes and her love for the sea. Good morning, I'm Lorenzo Riggi. There's a room booked for me for 3 nights. Emma. Good morning. Sure, welcome to our hotel, Lorenzo. We've been expecting you. I'm Emma. Ellie spoke highly of you. Did you have a good trip? Yes, thank you, Emma. The flight was right on time, and Ellie is always so kind. Here are the keys to room 22. We've already received a copy of your passport. Your room is on the 2nd floor. Unfortunately, there's no elevator. No biggie, I've got light luggage. Need help with your bags? Nah, thanks. I can manage on my own. Alright, settle in at your own pace. You must be tired, and if you need anything, just dial 0. I'm here until 8, then I'll head home. We don't have a night porter, but if needed, you can call this number. Emma shows you a note pinned to the wall. How do I get back into the hotel after dinner? The front door will be open and your key will be here at the reception. Ask about how to get to the harbor, maybe. Could you tell me how I can easily get to the harbor? I'd advise against going to the harbor at night. Why? What happens at the harbor? Nothing much, just that cargo comes in now and then. There have been some brawls between sailors and sometimes locals get involved. I'll be careful not to look too nosy if I see any suspicious cargo. Good, you've got the gist of what I meant. You head up to the 2nd floor via a wooden staircase. The first room on the right is number 22. You open the door. Thank goodness the receptionist Emma is a friendly and super nice gal. However, this room isn't quite what I was hoping for. Looks like it's stuck 50 years in the past at least. The room phone rings. It's Emma. Lorenzo, do you need anything? Nah, thanks. I'm all good. Damaged parquet and a shabby vibe? Damaged parquet and a shabby vibe? But hey, for $60 a night, it was the only available option in town. At least it seems like it. The room is big, but the bathroom is tiny. The decor includes some shabby antique furniture. There's a strong, musty smell. The window has heavy curtains that block the sunlight. Walking around the room, the floor creaks under your feet. Beside the main door, there are 2 doors on the side walls leading to other rooms. The rooms are interconnected. Wonder if there are any other guests. You hook up both your cell phone and laptop to the hotel's Wi-Fi and check if you received any messages or emails. Good thing the Wi-Fi works well. At least I can keep working on my presentation for the conference. Let me send a message to Laura first. So far so good. The flight was on time and the drive to the coast went smoothly. The room isn't exactly what I expected, but it will do for 3 nights. At least I can focus on my presentation. I'm gonna miss you a lot these days. Sending you a big kiss. You lie down on the bed. The mattress is soft, and there are 4 pillows, way too fluffy. You lie down to rest a bit, but you're not sleepy at all. You get up from the bed and look out the window. It's nice. It's a nice evening. The sky's clear, and it's not too hot. You decide to go out for a walk to explore the area a bit. You're tired, but not sleepy, and you're getting hungry too. Passing through the reception, you don't see Emma. You leave the room keys on the counter and go out into the street. You walk for a few hundred meters until you see in the distance a yellow light that looks like a sign. It's a diner, a cheap American restaurant. It's not great. The atmosphere is dark, with little light and heavy air that envelops the entire place. The walls are painted in an indecipherable color, between brown and eggplant, and the ceiling is low, creating an oppressive feeling. The tables are old and worn, with wooden swivel chairs that creak when someone sits down. The menu offers classic American dishes, hamburgers, french fries. You approach the counter, the waiter greets you cordially and invites you to sit at the table. The waiter: good evening. What can we prepare for you tonight? Good evening. I would like a hamburger, please, and also some french fries. Alright, I'll bring them to you right away. Would you like something to drink? Yes, a beer, please. I'll bring you the beer right away. Your table is located near a window. The waiter brings you an American beer. You read the label. It's produced in the Boston area. You taste it. It's a little bitter, almost spicy. After about 5 minutes, the food order arrives. Here you go, sir. Enjoy your meal. Thank you. As you eat, the waiter approaches you a couple of times to make sure you enjoy your dinner. Sir, did you arrive in Innsmouth today? How do you feel about our little town? I've only been here for just over an hour. I don't know the city, but it seems a bit, how to say, abandoned? I understand. There are a few people around, but I assure you it's a livelier place than it seems. In what sense? Is there social life? Not much. At least not in the usual sense of the term. But you can meet special people. Everyone wants to escape from here 2 days after arriving and then end up staying for a long time. Or even for life. What do you mean? What kind of people? Sailors, artists, followers of strange cults, eccentrics, kids who dropped out of school and live day by day. Ah, well, then it's a more interesting place than it sounds. I'm glad to hear that. At least I won't be bored. Get bored in Innsmouth? I don't think so. Just try to understand what's beneath the surface. I hope to understand more in the next 2 days. Now, I'm tired from the journey. I would like the bill, please. Of course. I'll bring it to you right away. Did everything go well? Excellent. Everything was good. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Come back whenever you want. You pay, leaving a good tip, and say goodbye as you go out of the restaurant. Suddenly, you think back to the bikers and surfers you met recently. You decide to go back inside to ask the waiter some questions, but you notice strange phenomena in the sky. Stop and look at the sky, maybe? What a bright sky. It seems like there are many more stars than usual, and that they move in swarms. The sky seems charged with an incredible force. Some flashes foreshadow a storm during the night. The clouds are moving at an unusual speed. Strong wind is coming from the sea. You leave the diner and return to your hotel, ready for a restful night's sleep. You left home in Rome 15 hours ago. Now you're sleepy and dead tired. You walk through the narrow streets of the town. The houses are almost all the same. Some are larger, with a porch at the entrance. You notice strange inscriptions on several houses, and also monstrous creatures painted next to the inscriptions. The sky is clear, starry. Swarms of stars move quickly in front of your eyes. What should we observe? Maybe the strange symbols? Oh. Next to these strange paintings, there are many symbols. They seem like phrases. I have never seen such characters. It's not an Asian language among those studies by archaeologists. They use no more than a dozen characters, too few for it to be some kind of alphabet. So there are two hypotheses. Either they're ideograms and each symbol represents something, or multiple characters stand for a letter, or a number. It's as if I came here for diving and I find myself involved in one of my archaeological researches. You go into your room and get ready to bed. You turn off your phone and your PC. It's better to turn off. They could call me from Italy in the middle of the night with a 6-hour time difference. You sleep under the covers, and in a few minutes, you fall asleep. You are woken up by flashes of light in the room. Your phone and laptop illuminate with messages and notifications received. You are too tired to check what it is, but out of the corner of your eye, you notice some kind of inscription on the computer. You quickly sit down on the bed. With some awe, you approach the PC and look more closely. The light from your monitor casts eerie shadows on the walls of the room, creating an almost psychedelic atmosphere. What the hell is this inscription? Does it look like something ancient? And how did it appear on the screen if I turn off the PC and phone? You are perplexed by the inscription and try to understand what it is, but you're too tired to focus. You decide to let it go and turn off the computer again, hoping to go back to sleep. You collapse from being so tired. After a while, footsteps and creaking noises wake you up. Confused, you look at the clock. It's 1:45 at night. What's happening? Why are their footsteps so late? You try to turn on the light, but there's no electricity. Has the power been cut? You shiver with fear. The footsteps stop near the door of your room. You sit on the bed with your heart pounding. I need to know what the hell is happening. You get out of bed, approach the door. You stop for a moment, take a deep breath, then open the door slowly. But there's no one outside. Maybe it was just my imagination. I need to relax and go back to sleep. You go towards the bed and lay down, trying to ignore the noises and focus on your breathing. After a few minutes, you finally manage to relax and go back to sleep. Then you hear a total racket. Everything vibrates very strongly. The 3 doors and the window, it seems like an earthquake or someone shaking the doors with all their might. But then you hear footsteps behind the side doors of your room. You go to the front door and the other 2 doors, barefoot and with your heart in your ears. You're certain that someone is behind the 2 side doors to the other rooms. Fear creeps inside you, but you force yourself to remain calm. Who is behind the door? Who are you? Nothing. No answer. The silence returns. Absolute, almost unnatural. You approach the desk where you had left the laptop and phone turned off. You were certain you'd turned them off again, but the screens are still illuminated. You move closer and see the same image on both devices. An old man staring at you with big, teary, almost white blue eyes. The old man is motionless. He could even be dead. He looks very sad. How did this image get on my phone and PC? They were off. At that moment, the old man on the screen seems to move and you get scared. Oh my god, he's alive? But who are you and what do you want from me? The old man remains silent and you realize it must have been just an image. You calm down a bit, but you're still shaken. The window glass starts to vibrate, first softly, then stronger, as if a heavy vehicle was passing by your house. The vibration becomes stronger and you want to go and see, but you are paralyzed by panic and remain motionless. What's happening? Why is the window vibrating like this? Out of the corner of your eye, you notice something happening on your computer. The old man is gone, but it seems like someone is using your keyboard remotely. You approach the computer and notice that many images are scrolling on the screen. What the hell is happening? At that point, you see images of a crowd of people. They're strange. The way they move and dress, and then the sea, the water, the deaths. It's like people are fleeing from the earth, sinking. What's happening? Who is controlling my computer? You feel overwhelmed by panic. You try to stay calm, but terror overwhelms you. What is happening? Who is controlling my computer? Pay attention to the people of the sea. Those people entering the sea, they have strange feet. The toes were not divided, but united, as if they were fins. I'm sure I've seen an image of people in the water with fin-like feet, but I can't remember where I've seen this before. On the PC it looked like a video, so they must be real images. But people like that with fin-like feet don't exist. Then everything ends, the images disappear from the screen and the vibration of the window stops. Your computer and phone are now turned off. What do I do now? I have to stay awake at all costs. Half an hour passes, then an hour. You are very tired, but manage to stay awake. It's huge effort not to fall asleep. At 6 in the morning, it's dawning. Maybe the danger has passed. You fall asleep exhausted. You're jolted awake when there is a knock at the door. It's a polite call, almost as if the person doesn't want to disturb you. Who is it? Oh, it's Emma, the reception. Sorry to bother you, but you need to hurry to the harbor for the diving. It's already 9. If you don't hurry, the dive center's boat will leave without you. You hurry up, get dressed, and get ready for the day of diving. You're wearing a t-shirt and shorts, sneakers, and sunglasses. In your backpack, put sunscreen, a hat, and a beach towels. Equipment will be provided to you by the diving school. When you go down the reception, Emma smiles at you. What happened last night? All that noise? Noise? We had a quiet night as always. What are you referring to? Could it have been just a nightmare? Now you only have one goal, to go out on a boat and dive into the ocean. That is, go down at least 50 meters deep and experience again the feeling of immensity that you feel at the bottom of the sea. It doesn't matter. I have to hurry, otherwise I'll miss the boat. How long does it take to get to the port? A 10-minute walk. It's easy. Walk out to the hotel and take any road to the right. They all lead to the sea. Once there, you will see the entire Innsmouth Cove. The port is more or less in the center. Go to Pier 1, where the diving school is located. Let's ask more questions, maybe? Emma, last night there was a terrifying noise. It lasted several minutes. Doors and windows banging, booms outside a room, and strange noises inside. Lorenzo, I'm sorry, but I don't know anything about it. The night was quiet as always. I'm sorry you had a terrible night. You must have been very scared. Were there any other people in the hotel? Maybe you can ask them. These days we only have 2 other guests who are regulars because they often come to Innsmouth for work. I saw them at breakfast this morning and they didn't say anything to me. Lorenzo, I'm sorry, but I think you had a nightmare. Reception phone rings. I don't have much time. I need to get some breakfast and then I have to hurry. Lorenzo heads to the dining room but realizes he forgot his sunglasses on the reception desk. He goes back to get them, but they're gone. Emma is not there either. Emma? Lorenzo calls her several times, but there is no answer. The whole hotel seems deserted. I have to hurry up. I'll take care of the glasses tonight. Emma must have put them aside. You leave the hotel and head to the harbor on foot. The streets are empty. Weird place. There is no one around. The hotel is on Main Street and you start walking through those ugly grey houses you saw last night. You hit Water Street and decide to take it since it leads to the sea, just like Emma told you. You keep walking for about a mile trying to spot if there's anyone around. Where is everybody? Is this a ghost town? You can't figure out where all the residents are. The whole town seems deserted. The streets are silent and desolate. What's going on? Where did everyone go? You walk slowly trying to spot any signs of life. There are no sounds. All you hear is the sound of your footsteps as you get closer to the sea. Someone is living in those houses. Many windows are open and some of the buildings have cars parked in the driveways, but there is not a soul inside. What's happening here? It's like everyone just up and left the town. You see the fish street and decide to take it since you saw on the map that it leads straight to the harbor. You start heading down the sloping road and after 5 minutes you catch a glimpse of the blue sea. Finally, the sea. At least I'm going in the right direction. You emerge onto a sort of seafront, a fairly wide area with several trucks parked in the semi-empty lots. You see rust everywhere, and the buildings inside are damaged by the salt air. The feeling of abandonment is amplified by a strong smell of fish. There's a terrible stench everywhere. A couple 100 meters away, there are a few small cargo ships and fishing boats moored at the docks. You decide to head in that direction. What a dump. I hope the diving school is up to the expectations. It looked really good on the website with all the latest gear. You head towards the harbor hoping to find a school. And maybe something you can find an answer to answer a few questions about this weird place. You feel uneasy. Let's hope this 2-day diving thing doesn't turn out to be a terrible idea. You arrive at the port and see the sign of Scuba Center Plum Islands Scuba. You have finally reached the place you were looking for. There they are. I finally found them. You enter the office of the Scuba Center and are greeted by the smile of a beautiful brunette with long hair and stunning blue eyes. Emma? Hi, are you Lorenzo? Are you the Italian who booked the dives? Yeah, that's me. Nice to meet you. Oh, nice to meet you too. My name is Emma. We were waiting for you. You're a bit late. Yes, I'm sorry it took me a while to find you, Emma. You too? You're the second beautiful girl named Emma that I've met in this place. Yes, I know. She's my cousin. She works at a hotel where you're staying. In our family, Emma is an important name. You know, in honor of a boat, a 2-masted sailboat that changed the fortunes of the family forever. An interesting story. You can tell me more later. Did you sleep well? Not much. I still have to adjust to the time difference, and I didn't sleep a wink last night. But don't worry, a nice bed will wake me up. By the way, could you prepare the equipment I requested in my emails? You carefully check the equipment, the wetsuit, fins, scuba tank, and snorkel. All seems to suit you. The mask is strange, of a type you have never seen before, but you think you'll be fine. Yes, Emma, everything seems to be in order. The size of the fins and wetsuit appears to be right. Great, you have sunglasses, right? There is a very strong light at the sea. Without sunglasses, you could damage your eyes. I had them, but I lost them. Take these. They're sunglasses with clear yellow lenses. They will help protect your eyes from the sun. You turn the glasses in your hands. They look like 3D goggles. You have never seen sunglasses like this before. You look around, observing the harbor. You see no pleasure boats, only fishing boats and small, ramshackle cargo ships. The area seems desolate. Despite a beautiful sunny day, the calm sea has a very light color, almost wintry. The water reflects an incredible amount of light, and it's dazzling, almost unnatural. The sea is really strange. I've never seen water of such a clear, intense, and dazzling color. Meanwhile, as Emma prepares the boat for the excursion, you wander away from school, strolling around the harbor. The stench of fish invades your nostrils again as soon as you approach the docks with the other boats, or try to enter one of the small streets that lead inland to Innsmouth. Despite the stench, you enjoy watching the harbor and admiring the sea towards the horizon. Looking at the sea, even this dull place becomes fascinating. In the distance, you see some small islands, perhaps 2 kilometers of the coast, and a closer cliff 700 meters from the shore. It doesn't seem artificial. It's rugged as if it were made of natural rocks, with colors ranging from sand to very dark brown, almost black. After a few minutes, you return to the sub-school. Those distance islets look interesting. I would love to explore them while diving. Emma, yeah, it's a nice place, full of shrimp and other crustaceans. Many divers go there to see the fish, which are searching for food. Today we don't have time to stop. We'll go to the open sea to the Orange Shoal. I'm ready. Shall we leave immediately? Yes, of course. The others have also arrived. Today there are 5 of you diving. Great, I can't wait. Perfect. Emma chats with 4 people, then she turns to you and calls out to you. Lorenzo, can you come here? Let me introduce you to our companions. You approach and are introduced to Chris and Tom, two guys in their mid-20s, and to a couple in their 50s, Sarah and John. Chris. Hi, Lorenzo. Nice to meet you. Are you ready for the dive? By the way, Chris looks like the waiter. He looks exactly like the waiter in the diner, but I suppose it's not him. Hi, Chris. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm very happy to join you. Tom. There will be lots of things to see underwater. We're all excited. Emma told us that you're a champion freediver. Emma. Yeah, that's true. Lorenzo dives down to 100-meter depth without scuba tanks. We can't wait to explore the shoal's seabed together. John. I'm glad there are several of us. We'll definitely have fun together. Emma. Before we leave, would you like some coffee? There are also muffins offered by the house. Emma looks at you with a smile on her lips. You, Lorenzo. Might need it. Thank you, Emma. I would gladly have a coffee and a muffin, if it's not a problem. Chris. Sure, let's go get them together. With the group of divers and Emma, you have coffee before setting off for the dive. Emma, come on guys, let's hurry up. Get on the boat and stow your belongings in the 2 compartments, bow and stern. We need to leave as soon as possible. It's a beautiful day, but the weather's forecast warns the weather may worsen in the afternoon. Let's go to the Orange Shoal, which is about 6 miles from here. You and the group hurry to board the boat. An aluminium motorboat about 10 meters long, with 2 outboard engines of 200 horsepower each. It has a covered space for the pilot and 2 holds, one at the stern and one at the bow. Not a modern boat, maybe 20 years old, but diving schools often use boats like this. Emma, check your equipment again. If you forget something, I won't be able to help you. I only have on the boat what Lorenzo and I need. Do you have sunglasses? Have sun ray reflect on the sea surface and create strange effects, even hallucinations. It can also damage your eyes, Lorenzo. I recommend you always wear the glasses I gave you. You nod and put on the glasses. Everyone settles into the boat. Emma quickly removes the moorings and starts the first engine to leave the port. You move away from the dock slowly with only 1 engine at idle. Emma pilots very cautiously. You pass by the islets. Emma, those are the plums, from which we took the name for our school. Passing by the islets, Emma accelerates using the 2nd engine as well. The speed must be about 20 knots. The sea is very calm and sparkling. You and Emma wear the strange yellow glasses, unbranded and with a thicker frame than usual. You're at the bow and look at the bright horizon and the almost transparent water. At some point, you seem to see a long dark mass on the horizon, maybe a cliff. After a while, the color of the cliff turns green, changing from dark to light, emerald, full of light, and the cliff starts moving. Waves seem to roll around the reef. Then what look like waves come to life. They are very long, bright green tentacles, sometimes not visible, sometimes very clear. At times they are very well distinguished. You can't speak. With your arm you signal to Emma, pointing to the tentacles, but Emma remains calm and smiling. The other passengers, looking in the same direction, seem not to notice anything. You look again, but now the view seems blurred. You see very well up close, but on the horizon you can no longer distinguish anything, except a glare. Emma, let's go to the Orange Shoal. It's about 30 meters deep. We should all be able to reach the bottom. Emma, did you see those tentacles? They were green and luminous. They seemed alive. Oh yeah, I saw them. Don't worry, they're just a peculiarity of those waters. Many people have hallucinations. That's also why you have to wear the glasses. But now we have to focus on the dive. Our wonderful sea awaits us down at the Orange Shoal. You can't get that vision out of your head, but you focus on preparing your diving equipment in the next dive. Lorenzo, wear the mask, otherwise you can't see anything. You wear the mask, try it on, it's perfectly waterproof, then you take it off. Okay, here we go. Now we go down and follow the bottom until we reach the shore. Lorenzo, please go down first. See if we're above the rocks or if the bottom is sandy. Let's keep the glasses on. Safety first. Maybe they're safe, maybe they're not. Emma, Lorenzo, maybe the glasses I gave you are too strong. They have special lenses. Try taking them off for a couple of minutes, but don't look towards the sunlight. Okay, I'll try. After taking off the glasses, you look again at the horizon in search of the tentacles. But a green light prevents you from seeing clearly. For a moment, but only for a moment, you have the impression that the horizon is turning into a huge green creature, confused in the sunlight. You decide to say nothing. Okay, you nod, then dive into the water. You feel the cold water on your skin, but after a few seconds you feel comfortable. You're very focused on the dive you're about to take. As you descend, you notice that the water becomes darker and deeper, and the bottom keeps moving away. But the fins give you the right push and help you move forward without much effort. After a few minutes of descent, you finally see the Orn's Reef. It's a huge rocky formation rising from the seabed, surrounded by swarms of colorful fish swimming around it. You're breathless in front of that beauty. You feel like you're in another world, far from everything, immersed in peace and beauty you've never experienced before. And in that moment, you know you will never forget that experience. You want to reach the bottom of the reef, as you used to do as a child, and stay there admiring the beauty of nature. Then it's time for you to resurface. You have learned to start with a short dive first. There is a rock below. Perfect. It's a nice spot full of fish. We can stop here. Emma turns off the engines and prepares to drop anchor. We are at 6 or 7 miles from the coast. Emma, get ready, guys. We are all jump together. And please, no unnecessary risks. You start dressing, taking turns using the holds below deck. After 5 minutes, the whole group is wearing wetsuits, tanks, has a mask on their foreheads, and fins in their hands. Sarah and John are adjusting their fins. Emma already has the mouthpiece in her mouth and is making some final adjustments to her wetsuit. Is everyone ready? Let's go then. Emma dives first, followed by the others. The water is cold, but you feel excited and focused. You look down and see a sandy seabed not far away. You start swimming in that direction. After a few minutes of swimming, you reach the other rocks. They're very large, full of crevices and caves. You illuminate shoals of fish swimming around you. You turn around and see that Emma is following you. She's about 20 meters from you. At one point, you see a large shadow moving behind a rock. Emma, look over here. You signal, pointing at the shadow. Emma turns and looks in the same direction. She signals that there are no problems. You continue to watch attentively, but you don't see anything strange anymore. You all make several dives in groups of 2. You're with Emma and you reach the bottom of the reef in a spot far from the others. You're on the border of the reef because you can see a much deeper seabed nearby. Emma indicates to you to go further and return to the surface. This is the border of the reef. If you go beyond, the seabed is about 80 meters deep. You think you can descend that far? I should. I'm not very trained, but it used to be normal for me to get to those depths. Alright, let's give it a try. You swim for a few minutes, looking down, then Emma signals you to look below towards the seabed. There's a very bright and shimmering green light at the bottom of the sea. It's a small light, but very intense. What is it? Emma, it should be the wreckage of an old boat. The reflections are possibly due to something metallic. The water around here often has a strange light. Shall we go down to take a look? Of course. You see it's a beautiful seabed. You try to descend about 30 meters, but then you signal to Emma, indicating your tank. Your air is running out. You ascend towards the surface and Emma follows you. My tank is running out. Don't worry, I'll help you with mine. Let's try to reach the green light. Okay, but let me do some breath holding first. I'll dive down and use the remaining air to come back up. The seabed is about 80 meters deep. You don't hear the answer because you're already immersed. You feel a huge desire to reach the green light on the seabed, or whatever it is. You descend meter by meter until you finally see it up close. In those moments, you feel like a kid again, when you're a free diving champion. You have a diving torch on your mask, and when you turn your head to look at the seabed, you can see quite well. On the seabed, there are stones arranged in a geometric shape, as if forming a pyramid. It's clearly a man-made artifact. You manage to touch the source of light. It's an object covered in alk, I think, about 30-40 centimeters in size. You try to pull it towards you, but you can't extract it from a group of rocks where it's wedged. You wonder, how is it possible that an object covered in alk at a depth of 80 meters emits light? You know you have only a few seconds left before you have to ascend. As you tug at the object, you glance around and the torch on your mask illuminates everything. The water is incredibly bright, a very bright emerald green. You think it's the algae, but then you realize that something strange is happening. The entire mass of water around the object, first for a few meters, then for tens of meters, then beyond, much beyond, is lighting up with a light green color. You hear it. At first you don't understand what it is. Then you focus your attention and you're certain it's a bread, slow and very deep. At a depth of 80 meters, surrounded by a brilliant light green water, you hear it again, a bread, slow and very deep. It's as if a huge creature is coming back to life. Panicked, you give one last tug to the object, pulling it towards you with all your strength. You finally manage to tear it from the rocks holding it. You're just in time to ascend. You search among the rocks. Let's remain and listen to the bread. In Italian, non capisco cosa sono questi rumori. I'm not sure if that was correct, probably Italian pronunciation. It sounds like the breath and the heartbeat of a living creature. Nah, it's not possible. It must be a delusion. Emma waves at you to hurry up. I need to understand what it is, but there's no time. I have to go back up. I have almost no airlift. As you ascend, you feel pursued by the breath and can't control the ascent times. You turn around for a moment, you see it. A huge creature is looking at you. It is made of very long water tentacles that move rhythmically. You're overcome by panic. You've been diving for a long time, at least 4 minutes. You return to the surface, compensating several times, and after a few dozen meters, you realize that Emma is waiting for you. She had stayed there. You're 40 meters deep waiting for you. You ascend together until you reach the surface. You reach the surface at the same time. You're exhausted and hold up the recovered figurine. Emma immediately notices the statue and changes her expression. Give it to me. It's ours. That statue belongs to my family. You're very tired and take a deep breath to recover from the effort. Saying nothing, you hand her the object, throwing Emma a confused look. Her eyes have become very clear, almost white. In these moments, she doesn't resemble the beautiful smiling girl from before. For a moment, she remains still, as if in a trance. Then she starts swimming, first slowly, then faster. Reaching the boat, she seems to have a mission to accomplish. She climbs on the board and disappears into the hold for a few minutes. You follow her, but you didn't get on the boat. Confused, you think back to when you held that strange object in your hand during the ascent to the surface. You didn't have much time to look at it closely, but it seems to be a statue depicting a man. Once resurfaced, you had time to look at it more carefully before Emma takes it. It's a statuette, half a man, half an animal, with tentacles instead of hair. It looks like stone, green, but iridescent. It has strange reflections. Then you thought goes to the incredible green light and to the bread. You are sure it was a bread. Emma. Guys, it's time to return to the port. In the afternoon, strange currents often form, so I don't want to find myself in difficulty. Let's go. One by one, you and the other 4 passengers get on the boat, take off your gear, and stay in your wetsuit. You would change in the port. The sea's got choppy, but there's a lot of air. It's not a strong wind, but it's colder than in the morning. Emma seems worried and drives the boat at full speed. Point to Emma about the arrival of a storm, maybe? You prefer not to risk it and decide to warn Emma of the impending danger. Look, a storm is coming. On the horizon there are already flashes and thunders, and the sea is getting rough. Emma, we need to hurry back. In this part of the ocean, the storms are terrible. It's very risky. The forecast did not predict such a worsening of the weather. Forget the forecasts. They don't work well here. Guys, hold on tight. I need to give it some gas. You look outside the boat for a while longer, then decide to enjoy the view. You feel confused and you can't find the words to express what you feel. Actually, you don't feel like talking. After a while, Emma turns to you. Lorenzo, are you worried about something? Nah, it's just that it has been a strange experience we had today. I know. But you know, sometimes it's better not to try to understand everything. Things always find a way to reveal themselves. Not slowly, getting the distinct feeling that Emma knows much more than she's saying. You're right. Anyway, thanks for the day at the sea. It's been a long time since I felt the sensation of getting lost in the depths. Emma smiles at you, then returns her focus to navigation. You look outside the boat for a while longer, then decide to enjoy the view. You're still confused, but you feel like you shouldn't panic. Answers will come, sooner or later. Since you arrived in that weird little town, strange things have happened. The first night with the noises in the computer that, while turned off, started coming to life. You remember the old man on the screen? Then you saw the cliff on the horizon animated with tentacles, the statuette, the lighted water at 60 meters, and that bread. And then Emma, who transformed from a young, smiling girl into an emotionless being. You think of Laura, and a mix of nostalgia and guilt for hardly ever thinking about her ever since you left. Thank goodness I'm going back home on Friday. After docking, Emma quickly moors the boat. It's clear she's a pro. Emma, Lorenzo, can you help me? Sure. Once the boat is moored, everyone takes turns stripping off their diving suits and gets ready to leave the port. They all thank Emma for the great trip and say their goodbyes. You get off the boat and head towards your hotel. As you walk along the harbor, you feel someone tap your shoulder. You turn around and see Emma behind you. Lorenz, I'm sorry for how I acted. I didn't mean to be rude, but that statuette is very important to my family. I was a bit shaken when I saw it in your hands. You nod, but say nothing. Emma smiles at you. She's back to being the delightful girl from that morning. Lorenzo, the port authority called me. Bad weather is expected tomorrow. There will be strong currents. They won't allow motorboats out. I get it. Anyway, today was a pretty intense day. We saw some beautiful seabeds. What's there to do here in Innsmouth? You could take a swim, just don't go too far. Maybe head over to Plum Islands. Sounds like a good plan. I'm still jet lagged from the trip and need to recover. A day of relaxation will do me good. Strangely, you feel relieved about the trip being cancelled. The weird events that happen in Innsmouth come back to mind. The idea of swimming alone sounds good to you. You retrace your steps. You have a great sense of direction and easily find your way back to the hotel. You enter the hotel. The other Emma is there. Hey Lorenzo, how are you? Did you have fun diving? Yeah. The sea was fantastic. I met your cousin. I know. Didn't I mention my family owns a diving school? My cousin's the one with the sea. She's more than a cousin to me. We're like sisters. Some people say we're the same person. I'm more shy though, and less of an adventurer. You suddenly feel uneasy. This town's got a creepy vibe. You've never met such weird and mysterious folks before, but at the same time, you're intrigued. By the way, are these your sunglasses? Your sunglasses are on the table. Yes, they're mine. I thought I'd lost them. Where did you find them? They were here, on the reception desk. That's not true. You know it well, but prefer not to say anything. It's another oddity. You wonder why anyone would take your glasses. Did you know that you can go out to the sea in boat tomorrow? What do you want to do? Stay here or head to Boston a day early? I think I'll spend another day here just chilling. I'll leave for Boston early on Sunday. I'll still have the whole day to check out the city. Great choice. Let me know if you need anything. Thanks, you're always so kind. You head to your room, take a hot shower, and feel a lot better. You stand around the running water for at least 10 minutes. You're feeling more rested after the free dive, but your muscles are still sore. You're out of shape. After your shower, you notice the smell of fish is gone. You smell fresh. You put on some clean clothes for dinner. You check your emails and messages on your phone, then start replying. There are 2 messages from Laura. She misses you and asks how the dive went. You reply, "Everything's good, honey. Today I went for 60 meters deep. Haven't done it in years. I honestly thought I could make it, but strangely, I felt like a fish, sending you kisses." You wonder how you managed to dive down to 80 meters and pry the statue from the rocks holding it. If they had told me earlier, I wouldn't have believed it. I didn't think I was still in shape. After getting dressed, you leave the hotel and head to the restaurant where you had dinner the night before. Now it seems more welcoming, with a warm and familiar atmosphere. The shabbiness of the furnishing seems almost deliberate and in line with what a strange city. You sit at the table and start looking through the menu. The waiter from the day before recognizes you and greets you warmly. Waiter. Good evening, everything okay? Please sit down, whatever you prefer. Good evening to you, thank you. Do you already have an idea of what to order, or should I give you some time to decide? My yesterday's hamburger was delicious. I have the same dishes as yesterday. Hamburger and fries, and a nice beer. Alright, I'll bring the beer right away. While waiting for your food, you observe the other restaurant customers. There's an elderly couple holding hands, a family with children playing with the cutlery, and a group of friends laughing and joking loudly. Suddenly you hear a voice behind you. Emma, from the dogs. And may I join you? Emma, you look at her surprised. Of course, with pleasure. What brings you here? I didn't feel like cooking tonight. I decided to come here to eat, but I don't like eating alone. Please, have a seat. Tonight I feel like having some fish. I'll have a clam, chowder, and a portion of fried calamari. Emma and you start chatting in a very friendly way, talking about your lives and passions. You tell her about your career as a professor of Asian history and your future projects, while Emma talks about her passion for the sea and her family. Tell me more about the statuette. Why is it so important to you? The food arrives and you start eating. Emma sure loves her calamari. That statuette means a lot to our family. It's a symbol of our pastimes. I enjoy talking to you. You're an interesting person and I appreciate the fact that you are not impressed by the strange things that happen to you in this little town. I'm not sure if that's true, but thank you. I have to admit that I'm a little confused by everything I've seen today. I understand. It's normal. These days we're only used to what is strictly practical and real, so a statuette with extraordinary power seems like a madness to us. What powers are you talking about? Emma burst into a loud laughter. I just wanted to scare you, but I didn't succeed. What are your plans for tomorrow? In the morning I will go diving along the coast, as you suggested, and then we'll see. If you go to the islets, be careful not to enter the caves. Some can be rather dangerous, as there are tunnels. It can be difficult to get out of it. I would like to accompany you, but unfortunately I have a commitment. Don't worry, I'll manage it. Now excuse me, but I have to go. I need to plan some excursions next week. Bye, Emma. See you soon. Thank you. Have a good evening, Lorenzo. Gee, I wish I'd asked Emma for a few more questions about what happened to me. I will start my own investigation. Where do I start? Start with a shoal. I would like to return to the reef. I need to understand the origin of the strange brightness of the sea at that point. And the breadth, the poles. I wonder if the weather conditions will allow me. And then I have to find a boat that would take me. I don't want to tell Emma. I probably shouldn't have chosen that. Back in the room, you lay down on the bed and close your eyes, trying to relax and surrender to sleep. But your thoughts are too turbulent to allow you to easily fall asleep. You roll onto your side and pick up the book, but you can't concentrate on the plot. You think back to the statuette, the green light and the mysterious bread at the bottom of the sea. Emma's strange attitude. What is the girl hiding? What does she know about the statuette? And why was she so determined to get it? As you get lost in these thoughts, sleep suddenly overtakes you, almost without you realizing it. You dream of swimming in crystal clear water searching for something. The green light guides you, but when you reach it, your face turns into Emma's, with transparent eyes and a tight mouth. You wake up suddenly, your heart racing. You look at your watch, 2 o'clock in the morning. You breathe deeply, trying to calm yourself down. You decide to get up. You look out the window, everything is peaceful, no one around. You then decide to go out, take a walk. Even though it's so late, you don't want to spend another night of nightmares. You leave the hotel and walk down the streets of Innsmouth. No one is around. After about 10 minutes, you reach the beach. The fresh night air is good for you, and the sight of the sea brings back the image of green light in the deep. You wonder what light means and what is attracted to you so much, and you think again about that strange bread. Did you really hear it, or is it just imagination? At a depth of 80 meters, the break can play nasty tricks. As you walk on the sand, you see a bonfire. You decide to approach it. It's a group of about 10 young people having a party on the beach. Or rather, they're dancing awkwardly without music around the fire. They have several beer bottles and they smoke. Judging by the strong, acrid smell, they're smoking joints. Who are you? An European tourist, Italian. I couldn't sleep and I thought I'd take a tour. Do you mind if I stay here for a while? Not at all. If you don't mind witnessing our magical dance, we are evoking a god. Everyone bursts into laughter. What do you mean? A girl says, nothing much. There are ancient stories that are told here in Innsmouth. Legends? I think they refer to the period when sailors, merchants, and slaves from Africa especially came here from all over the world, at a time when Innsmouth was an important trading port. Those were surely some wild times, to say the least. Okay, I'll stay here for a while. I hope your dance will calm me a bit so I can get back to sleep. Everyone laughs. Let's, Oh, the boy has a symbol of the pendant. Let's ask about that. Nice pendant you have. Can I see it? Oh, of course, it's the image of the sacred fish. In my family, we have passed it down for generations as a symbol of good luck and very long life. My grandmother gave it to me, urging me never to take it off. It seems to bring good luck and can prolong the life of those who always carry it with them. In fact, some people have the image of the sacred fish tattooed. On the back of the medallion, there is a piece of the map. What map? According to legend, there are several similar medallions. Together, the medallions allow you to discover the location where a treasure is kept. That is, if you can interpret these characters, which no one knows. The boy laughs. Okay, thanks for the chat. Now I say goodbye. I'm going to sleep. Good night. You're on your way to the hotel, roaming the streets of Innsmouth at night. Drawn by the eerie and mysterious vibe of the town, you spot a faint light coming from a small chapel hidden among the rundown buildings. You get closer. Sneaking closer, you peek through a dirty window. What you see takes your breath away. Oh. Inside the chapel, a group of hooded figures stands around an altar, lit by flickering candles. The hooded individual chanted in a monotonous tone in an unknowing language. Meanwhile, in the center of the altar, a taller, imposing person performs ritual gestures, holding a mysterious marine relic. You wonder, who are these people? What are they doing? Your heart pounds in your chest as the air around the chapel seems to grow more oppressive. You feel trapped between terror and curiosity, eager to learn more, but at the same time scared of being discovered. In your mind, thoughts chase each other in a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. This town hides so many secrets. You'd think trying to figure out what this dark ritual could mean. As you lean in for a better look, you knock over some timber debris and make a noise. Let's stay. Drawn by a mysterious ceremony happening inside a small church, you cautiously approach to peek through the window to observe more closely, trying to catch every detail of the ceremony. With your eyes glued to the scene, you manage to glimpse the face of the hooded man leading the ritual. Whoa! A dim light barely illuminates his figure, but you can make out the horrifying features of a fishman with large, scaly eyes. What am I seeing? That man? He almost doesn't look human. You decide to run away immediately at the sight of that horror. You head towards the hotel and reflect on what just happened. You conclude that it was just a mask and that no such creature exists. Still slightly shaken, you return to the hotel. In the morning, you're awakened by the reflections of light passing through the window curtains. You check the time, it's 9 o'clock. You quickly get dressed and go down for breakfast. You meet Emma. Hi. Good morning, Lorenzo. I hope you slept well. Yes, thank you. I crashed last night. I was exhausted. I believe you. The time difference, the immersion. What do you plan to do this morning? I think I'll take a nice bath. Maybe I'll get to the islets. How's the weather? I don't think it will rain. It's a bit cloudy, but I think you'll enjoy getting to the plumps. However, you don't have the equipment. You may want to ask Emma about it. I don't need it. Yesterday I went snorkeling for a while and I realized I'm still in good shape. I was afraid it would be worse. It's been at least a year since I went diving. I'll use the mask I brought from Italy. It's not great, but it will do for today. Great, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you. You go up to your room to get ready. You put on your swimsuit, a t-shirt, and pack a towel and sunscreen in your bag. You leave the hotel, waving goodbye to Emma. You pass the port and stop on the beach where the night before you had met the guys around the bonfire. There's no one there. You undress and stay in your swimsuit. You only have a mask, but you're a great swimmer. Even without fins, you should have no problems. The small islands lie about a mile from the shore. Between them and the shore, about halfway down, there is a dark rock cliff. The sea is calm, although the sky is gray. Occasional rays of sunshine penetrate the clouds and make the water sparkle. In those fleeting moments, you feel the sun on your skin, experiencing a nice sensation. You enter the water. After a few steps, you dive and start swimming. The water is cool, pleasant. Every couple of minutes, you stop to rest. You look around. It's not a bad day. It's probably not going to rain, you think. After about half an hour of swimming, you begin to see the rocky bottom, but now you're close to the islets, about 200 meters away. You stop to rest. You begin the breathing that predecedes the dive. You go down. You descend to the bottom, about 15 meters deep. From there, you see the islands and rocks all around. You come back up. You prepare for a new longer dive. This time near the plumps. You want to see the caves that Emma told you about. You prepare for a few minutes and dive. In front of you, you see the rocks and caves. The sea is dark, but at times it lights up when the sun's rays pass through the clouds. There are many fish. You approach until you touch the rocks. The surface is uneven, but strangely smooth. You ascend every 2 or 3 minutes. You stay up for about 10 minutes on the surface and then dive. The bottom is about 50 feet. For someone as experienced as you are, it's a piece of cake. You're not tired and you really enjoy exploring the rocks, surrounded by a multitude of fish. At some point, you come across an almost vertical rocky wall. Immediately, you realize that it's different from the others, because the color of the rock is darker. You look closer. It's a striated wall. You see many geometric lines and strange characters. They're carvings. You want to understand what they represent, but you have to go up. You take a deep breath and go back down. Suddenly, a lot of light penetrates. The sun rays are filtering through the water. For a moment, you see the whole wall clearly. It is about 30 meters long and 2 meters high, completely carved. The sun rays come and go depending on how much they're obscured by the clouds. Underwater, the effect is as if the wall with the inscriptions is flashing. It lights up and it darkens every few seconds. For a few moments you can see well. Indecipherable symbols, stylized fish, repeated in many places, and monstrous creatures. You can't distinguish them well. They're half fish and half human, sometimes winged, have monstrous faces of snakes. Frogs and fish. Too bad you don't have fins and scuba tanks. You would have liked to look at the inscriptions more carefully. You have to go back up to the surface. You have been diving for a few minutes. In a few seconds you take a breath. The weather is getting worse. It seems like a storm is about to come. You remember Emma's words about sudden weather changes? Let's say we go back to the shore. Safety first. These are the same drawings and characters painted on the facades of many houses in the village. Half fish, men, the sacred fish, as the boy called it last night, and the sequences of indecipherable characters. I wonder what I have to do with them, with Maya and India's symbols. Maybe there's no connection, or maybe there is. You have a swim of almost a mile ahead of you and you start feeling tired. The strong currents take you further away. You have to make double effort to swim towards the shore. The sea is getting rough, occasionally a wave higher than the other forms. You struggle, but you're an excellent swimmer. At a certain point, you turn around and see a fairly high wave coming towards you. You stop to wait for it to pass, but at 10 meters from you, the wave loses power. It passes over you without violence. You can gather your strength and return to the shore now. On the beach, you find your bag, you take off your mask, take the towels, and dry yourself. The sky is cloudy again with glimpses of sun from time to time. But it doesn't seem like it's going to rain. You're happy with the day of free diving. Sometimes you feel the sun's rays on your skin. It's a very pleasant feeling. You close your eyes and look up towards the sun. Hello, Lorenzo. You turn around and see Emma from the diving school. I've been looking for you for a while. You've been in the water for quite some time. Almost 3 hours. I went to the islets and did a lot of dives there. I'm glad I went. I found some inscriptions of the rocks. Oh yes, the plums are full of engraved stones, made more than 100 years ago. Can you still see them? I thought the water and the algae might have erased them. No, they're clearly distinguishable. Who made them? I don't know. I heard several times the slaves who came from Africa made them. These Africans remained in Innsmouth for a while before being sold to landowners as farm workers. Innsmouth was an important port a long time ago. Interesting. So they would be the work of a different culture? I think so. Now I need to leave you. I have work to do. See you later. Have a good day, Emma. You stay a little longer to dry yourself. You put on your shirt and decide to head back to the port. As you walk, you think of Emma. What a strange girl. She's very nice and kind, but when you ask her some questions about strange things happening here, she's always evasive. I have a feeling she knows a lot more than she's saying, and I feel she's controlling me. 3 hours in the water made you hungry. You decide to grab a coffee and a sandwich at a cafe you spotted this morning near the harbor. It's small inside, but there are a few tables on the outside porch with an ocean view. You walk in and are greeted by a smiling, chubby, bearded man around 60. Bartender, welcome. Come on in and make yourself comfortable. I'll be right with you. You take a seat. Thanks. So, what can I get you? We serve brunch on weekends. What's in your brunch? Eggs, bacon, coffee, orange juice, fresh cheese. But if you've got any special requests, we'd be happy to accommodate you. Sounds perfect as it is. May I also like a banana if possible. Between yesterday and today, I've really worn myself out diving and I need some vitamins. Sure, I'll bring you a banana if you want. We also have apples and oranges. Sounds great. You feel a strange sense of fulfillment and realize the trip is doing you a lot of good. It feels ironic, but regardless of the experience you had, you're glad to be in Innsmouth. Nondescript ocean port, somewhat shabby and abandoned, yet it seems familiar. The bartender brings your brunch. Here you go. Hope you like it. No worries, I'll eat it all. I'm really hungry. Can I ask you something? Of course. This place, Innsmouth. I get it. You're intrigued by the oddities of this ugly little seaside town. Exactly. I'm from Italy and around Boston I expected to find more modern cities. Well, Innsmouth is now part of Ipswich, but they used to be two separate towns. Ipswich was less significant, but Innsmouth until about 1950 was one of the East Coast commercial ports. Thanks to some local families, the Marshes, the Elliots, the Gilmans, and the Ornes, Innsmouth became a thriving port around 1850. All sort of goods arrived here, but also African slaves, opium, rum, and illegal immigrants. The families I mentioned managed to see trades, owned ships, and were all related to each other. They've decided everything around here. It seems they became very wealthy from the trades. Legal trades? Perhaps they weren't always legal. There's talk of quite a bit of smuggling. For a long time, desperate people from everywhere came to Innsmouth, often bringing their customs and a few strange religious rites. They say the last slaves arrived here long after the abolition of slavery, but that's just hearsay. No one can tell you for sure. What kind of rites are you talking about? I don't know much, but it's no secret Innsmouth was home to some cults which weren't just the voodoo rites of the slaves. As I said, I don't know much, even though I've lived here forever. And then what happened? With the end of these trades and the decline of the Innsmouth families, the place became gloomy and abandoned. Fewer and fewer people lived here, which makes sense, since there aren't any jobs. But I've noticed quite a few young people around. It's been repopulating for the last 20 years or so, mostly because the house here costs less than half what it will cost in Ipswich. It's almost becoming trendy among alternative young people. And Ipswich families, they buy a place here but only come to sleep. Also, some artists have moved to the area. I see. Thanks for the explanation. Do you know the diving school? Sure, they're the descendants of the Elliots. The two girls are very skilled and are reviving the family business. One has turned the shipping company into a diving school. The other runs a hotel. The Gilman's house, which is now called something else. I can't remember the new name because everyone still uses the old one. Elliottson. I'm staying there. Oh yeah, the Elliottson. Even though the girls have different last names, because their mothers were Elliots, old Elliot had 4 daughters. The port's still up and running, so a few cargo ships docked. Yeah, it's working. It's busier than it looks, especially since the SNA guys showed up. Who are they? They're folks from out of town who originally got manual jobs at the port. Then they got organized from their own crew and now they run everything. Some folks don't like them because they can be bullies sometimes. Meaning? Well, let's just say they pushed a few of the local old-timers to sell them their businesses. Nothing violent though. Those who aren't fans call them a gang, maybe because a couple of them used to be bikers. To me, they're just good customers. Let's ask about the group, maybe? I do not quite understand whether these SNA guys are criminals. I wouldn't call them that. They're a bit thuggish and adventurous. But according to rumors, they're behind the illegal night shipments. Many of them are also part of a biker gang. You often see them riding around in small groups. Quite a few of them are natives, came to the coast looking for luck. I think I met them yesterday when I arrived. They sized me up head to toe, but weren't aggressive. They did seem like shady characters though. Let's just say, yeah, they're shady. You pay the bill. Got it, thanks for everything. The great brunch and the chat. Thank you. You get up and leave the bar. After lunch, you leave the bar and look at the harbor. It's quiet. You hear the noise of many seagulls flying around, landing here and there in search of food. Hey, stranger. You hear. You turn around and see an elderly gentleman aged between 70 and 75. He's dressed in a pair of work pants and an old shirt. He has a stern expression. Good morning. Good morning to you. I'm Jim Zadok. Who are you? My name is Lorenzo Righi, and I'm an Italian tourist here for a couple of days. Tourists? There are a few of them around here. What have you come here for? 2 days of diving? Ah, I see. You went to see with Emma. Yes, do you know her? Yes, I see her around. I know her family well, the Elliots. I also worked with them as a young man. In the canned fish factory. What do you do now? I live on my pension and spend my days at the port. If I see someone new, I talk to them, as I did with you. Jim, have you always lived here in Innsmouth? I was born here. The Zaddocks were one of the first prominent families around here, although we never had much money. My ancestors were fearless sailors, and often went to sea in very risky situations. What kind of risks? 3 or 4 times a year, they would leave with a ship for special trades in some remote place in the Atlantic or Pacific Ocean. Most of them would return, but some from the crew would always die. It was a time when piracy still existed. My grandfather also used to tell me about incredible stories that took place here in Innsmouth, about pagan rituals, about parties, about group hypnosis. When a ship full of desperate people arrived for some Caribbean island or even from Africa, they would hide them because they were not registered. Sometimes when the police raided, the irregulars would take refuge whenever they could, even in the water near the Plum Islands. Once they had to stay here for 2 days, always in the water with very little food and water. Then it all ended. Innsmouth became a place forgotten by God and men. But I feel that there is still something evil around the city, and even at sea. Here you cannot walk around freely everywhere. They do not want you to go to some forbidden places. It is said that there are many hidden things, even of great value. Some are looking for treasures accumulated by adventurous sailors. You want to make this old oddball talk. You don't know if he's saying is true things or just fantasy. What do you mean? Who doesn't want people to roam freely? What are the forbidden places? I can't talk about it. I have to go now. You notice a couple of guys approaching. They look like dock workers. They're wearing blue shirts with yellow lettering that reads SNA. Jim Zadok hurried toward one of the many calm-like streets leading from the port to the center of Innsmouth. It almost seemed like he was spooked by the arrival of the two guys. I think we should head towards the hotel. Safety first again. You decide to head back to the hotel. By now you know the way. As you climb the narrow street of Innsmouth, you notice the houses. They're all similar cottages, but some have a patio at the entrance, almost always decorated. You think back to the submerged decorated wall. How did they manage to carve it over 100 years ago, 5 meters underwater? As you reflect and observe a painting of a half-fish man, you get the feeling that a creature's tall tail is moving. You get closer to take a better look. It's just your imagination. Yeah, towards the hotel. Let's try the paintings this time. That's the serpent god, one of the most important deities in the Maya religion. It was worshipped in Mexico. This is the third or fourth house I've seen that has a facade over which they've painted it. I wonder why. What's a seaside village near Boston got to do with the Maya? Hi, Emma. Good morning, Lorenzo. How was your day? Very good. I swam to the Plum Islands. I did a lot of diving among the rocks. Then I spent some time on the beach where I saw your cousin. Had a lunch at the port bar and then had a chat with a certain Jim Zadok. Oh Jim. He's a strange guy. Nobody knows if he's crazy or just eccentric. What did he tell you? Is Innsmouth the home of 1,000 satanic cults? He's been saying that forever. More or less. All made up? Emma laughs loudly. I don't know about these things, but I would say that Innsmouth is too boring a place to be the devil's home. Nothing ever happens here. I heard that your family, the Elliots, are an institution around here. This is true. The Elliots are my mother's family and her sisters. They were important when the port was thriving, and there was a lot of commerce here. Not anymore today. Okay, Emma, I'm going to my room to work for a bit. I had to leave tomorrow morning, and I want to prepare myself well. That seems fair. See you later. You take the key and go up to your room. Last night, at Innsmouth 22, perhaps. Okay, you lie down on the bed, feeling the need to chill for a bit. It's 5 o'clock. You head out to dinner in a couple of hours. You close your eyes. You're tired, you start to doze off, but you're not sleeping. It's as if you're daydreaming. The deep layers of your memory are unlocking, waking up your subconscious. Weird feeling, like something old and buried is coming back to the surface. What's happening here is tied to something from my past that I have to remember. I was a kid, 5 or 6, living in a nice house with a garden. It was always so sunny. Dad would take me to the beach. He wanted me to play on the sand, but I was always in the water. I loved to fill my lungs with air and swim underwater for as long as I could. In the evening, after dinner, Dad would work and I'd play in the living room listening to Grandpa chat with my old uncles. They always talked about Grandma Helen, who came over from America to settle in Liguria. Foreign wife, they talk about her beauty and her connection to the sea. She'd swim underwater for hours, almost like she was a fish. A long time ago, she swept Grandma off his feet. Grandpa. She seemed to like living in Italy, but at some point she started to get sad. She wasn't happy anymore. She also developed health issues and said she needed to go back home for a while. Then she vanished into thin air along with Mom. They were never seen again. You feel a deep pain, one you had forgotten about. You're overwhelmed by your emotions and memories flooding your mind unintentionally. You're exhausted, both from a day of diving under the sun and the strain of the previous day. You don't feel like thinking and rationalizing the events that happened in Innsmouth over the past 2 days. You work on your presentation for an hour, then ponder whether to go out for a bite, but you're not hungry, you just feel like getting some fresh air. The streets are empty. There are big clouds in the sky, but it doesn't look like it's going to rain. There's full moon, so the sky is still bright. As you walk, you see a group of guys carrying heavy boxes into a house. You gradually get closer as you walk onto the opposite side of the street and pass by them. A guy stares at you for a moment and you pretend not to care. On the facade of the houses, you see the stylized snake you've seen several times before on other houses and on the storied wall at the plums. Back in the room after dinner, you collapse on the bed. You have a strange dream. The sky is pitch black and you can't see the stars. After a storm that lasted for days, your boat, a 30-meter schooner, is at the mercy of an angry sea. 10-meter high waves have been replaced by seemingly manageable swells, but are lashed by fierce winds and currents. The Sumatra Queen, that's your boat, looks like a wounded animal. The sea boils with anger and turns a bright green, unlike anything you've ever seen, lit by the full moon whenever it's not obscured by clouds. In the distance, you spot kind of a pinnacle, rising about 30 meters out of the water. It looks like an ancient obelisk with a square base. When the Sumatra Queen reaches, it's morning. The storm has passed and the sea is calm. The boat approaches the obelisk, and you and 2 others dive into the water to reach it. The water around the obelisk follows strong currents like a vortex that prevents you from reaching it. It seems alive, like the tentacles of a gigantic octopus. You manage to swim towards the obelisk. The water suddenly opens a path for you. The base of the obelisk is a platform 20 or 30 meters wide, and there is a staircase leading to it from the sea, winding around the platform. Originally, the entire sculpture must have been a natural islet, a rock in the middle of the ocean. Someone carved the platform and the obelisk and all the designs that adorn it. At the base of the obelisk, there is a stone door carved about 2 meters wide and at least 3 meters high. You know nothing about it, but you have a sense. You're almost certain that it leads to something terrible. Despite the fear, you try to open it. You remember only a few details of the dream, but you're sure it's not a new story. You have heard it told by someone before. You don't have much time to think about it now. You have to hurry. The dream of the obelisk in the middle of the ocean. I woke up when the sailors tried to open the door in the rock. In reality, the 3 will find precious stones and meet a group of natives. But how do I know the continuation of that story if I woke up? After a few minutes, you go downstairs for breakfast. Emma's downstairs smiling as always. She accompanies you to the breakfast room. You have an American breakfast with eggs, ham, and 2 cups of coffee. Finally, after a good half an hour, you finish my breakfast with an apple. You pay the bill, go upstairs and get your bag and put it in the car. Emma goes out on the street to say goodbye to you. I hope you had a good time. We were very pleased to meet you. We hope to see you again. Thank you, Emma. You're very kind. Okay, you get in the car and leave. You have set the navigator to go to Boston, to the address of the hotel booked for you by Ellie. But while driving, you also look at the road signs to understand where you are. That place, Innsmouth, now seems familiar to you, as if you had already been there in the past, and even several times. Leaving the city, you carefully look at the houses. Ugly, grey, and descendant, but with something fascinating. You see industrial plants that you had never noticed. They seem abandoned. Finally, you found the directions for the road that along the coast would take you to Boston. The navigator confirms the direction. The drive lasts 2 hours at 60 miles per hour. The road is narrower than the Italian ones, and above all, less straight and full of curves. It seems different from the one on the way there. When you arrive at Boston, the navigator directs you to a real city highway made of long overpasses. In about 20 minutes, you find the exit you're looking for. It's a beautiful day, sunny and windy. You're happy. The hotel, equipped with internal parking, is a 5-story building with dark red brick, probably built around 1930. At the reception, there is a very kind boy who welcomes you courteously. Liam. Professor Veggie, good morning. Welcome, I was waiting for you. My name is Liam. First time in Boston? Here's the key to your apartment. There's a letter from the New England Archaeological Society for you. Thank you, Leo. Yeah, it's my first time in Boston. The room is number 13, on the first floor. For any needs, contact me. You have to press 0. Thanks again. You make your way to the elevator. Your room is very nice, bright and cozy. You drop your bag on the bed and open the letter. Dear Lorenzo, welcome to Boston and thank you for accepting our invitation. Your participation is very important to us. We hope Ellie and I that your 2 days of diving were enjoyable and that you had a great time in Innsmouth. We'll be waiting for you on Monday morning at 8 o'clock at the reception to accompany you to our offices, which are located nearby. See you tomorrow, Tom J. and Jelly. You receive a phone call from Italy. It's Laura. Hello, darling. It's so nice to hear from you. How are you? I'm fine, but I'd be better if you remember me. You're right. You know how I am, but you also know that I miss you very much. I miss you too. What are your plans for today? Are you going for a walk around Boston? Yes, I feel like taking a long walk around the city. I'll be going out soon. What about you? I spent the weekend at my parents'. You didn't tell me anything about the 2 days of diving. How did it go? Good. Strange, I would say. Strange? What do you mean? The first night I had a kind of a nightmare. The first day of diving, I went down to over 80 meters and I recovered an Asian artifact. The next day I came across a historiated underwater wall. The small town was a bit seedy and very mysterious. Lara laughs. But weren't they supposed to be 2 days of relaxation? Well, there wasn't much relaxation. I guess you'll have to tell me about it when you get back. Have fun in Boston. Kisses. Have a good time too. Say hello to your parents for me. I kiss you. Okay, so those were the first 1.5 hours of Innsmouth 2022, where with Lorenzo we just left Innsmouth, which was pretty strange, grayish and eerie town indeed. And now we're travel back to Boston, or travel into Boston for the press conference that's about to be held. And we will leave the gameplay for now here. Let me know in the comments below, what are your thoughts so far about this game? Do you find it scary, or do you just find it more mysterious? Do you think more events will unfold? What will happen next? From my interpretation, I think that Lorenzo might actually be a part of Innsmouth, or perhaps his family origin could be a part of there. The really strange disappearance of his mom and his grandma kind of leads me to believe that. Also, the fact that he's able to swim, and not just him, but obviously it goes down to his grandma and his mom's line side of the family. And I get a feeling that perhaps, or why not, the people who origin from older family lines from Innsmouth could potentially not be humans. I don't know. I guess we're gonna figure that one out. And that will be all for today. Thank you so very much for watching this video. As usual, if you really liked the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. There is a meow from Beck also. And I wish everyone a very good rest of your day or a week. Stay safe and take care. Bye.